Plenty of movie franchises overstay their welcome, and 2 movies is often enough to see whether a franchise has a viable future. The first sequel often dictates whether a franchise can be more than just one great movie. For example, John Wick was designed as a standalone movie, but its first sequel set up an intriguing story that necessitated an entire franchise. For every John Wick, there are many more franchises which deliver underwhelming sequels. Not all movies should set up long-running franchises, and not all franchises should be designed to continue indefinitely. There are plenty of franchises with just 2 or 3 movies that are the perfect length. Unfortunately, studios don't always know when to quit. There's an art to knowing the right time to call it quits, and a lot of movie franchises would be held in higher regard if they had stopped at just 2 movies. 10. The Godfather. Francis Ford Coppola's masterpiece didn't need its coda. Francis Ford Coppola created the greatest duology in the history of film with The Godfather and The Godfather Part 2 in the 1970s, but the third movie in the series is often derided as the ultimate example of an unnecessary sequel. The Godfather Part 3 isn't quite as bad as some people make it out to be, and it's worth remembering that it was nominated for Best Picture. However, it still constitutes a massive letdown. The first 2 Godfather movies tell the story of Michael Corleone's turn toward a life of violent crime, and it masterfully contrasts his journey with that of his father. Released 16 years later, The Godfather Part 3 meanders a little while it struggles to come up with a story half as captivating. There are some great moments, but ultimately it taints the impeccable legacy of the Godfather series. 9. Home Alone. Macaulay Culkin's exit changed the franchise. The Home Alone franchise never managed to recover from Macaulay Culkin's exit, and even the 2021 reboot fell flat. Home Alone and its first sequel ask a lot of Culkin, but he manages to keep things compelling and funny, which is no easy feat for such a young actor. The franchise attempted to keep on going after he left the role of Kevin McAllister behind, but the quality quickly dropped off a cliff after 3 miserable sequels that failed to recapture the magic of the first 2 Home Alone movies. The franchise came back with a 2021 reboot starring some great comedic actors, including Rob Delaney and Aisling Bea. Although Home Sweet Home Alone counts as an improvement on the franchise's worst movies, it doesn't come close to touching the first 2 movies. Home Alone and Home Alone 2, Lost in New York will probably remain in the Christmas rotation for many years. The franchise should have quit at that. Shrek is still kicking somehow. The Shrek franchise often inspires a debate about which of the first 2 movies is the best. While Shrek has Lord Farquaad, a perfectly subversive fairy tale story, and Donkey's hilarious romance with the dragon, Shrek 2 introduces more great characters like Puss in Boots and the fairy godmother. The subsequent 2 Shrek movies never enter the conversation, since they are such a disappointing step down in quality. Shrek the Third and Shrek Forever after simply run out of juice, failing to come up with a story that's as exciting and vital for the characters. With Shrek 5 in development, it's possible that the franchise could continue this downward trend. The one reason to be optimistic about Shrek 5 is Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, the 2022 spin-off that delivered the franchise's biggest laughs and most thrilling action since Shrek 2. If Shrek 5 can mix in the same ingredients, it could revive a flailing franchise.